Hey everybody, I'm Rick. Welcome to Talking Habs, where you get your daily fix of Bleu Blanc Rouge. It is Saturday Hockey Talk. It is the preview for the game tonight. Boston is in Montreal to take on the Habs. They're not taking on the Bruins. That's what I almost said. It's game number 14 of the season. First meeting of the year between Montreal and Boston. Again next Saturday. They'll be in Boston this time, but game 2 of the season between these two teams. Boston is, I think, leading the league. Anyways, they're 11-1-1. Montreal is going to be in tough tonight. They're going to be in tough tonight. I think the best goalie in the league, I think Swayman, if he's not, he's right up there. He's in nets tonight. Monty will be in nets for Montreal. It's going to be a tough game tonight, I got to say. Montreal has not beaten Boston in 4. I'm not sure if it's seasons or years, because that makes it, there's a little bit of a difference, but I read it as 4 years. So they're due. I hope anyway. Nothing better than if Montreal would beat Boston tonight. That would just be awesome. We'll see. You know, a gift from the Habs to the Canadian veterans that have lost their lives in the wars over the years. It's Remembrance Day here in Canada. So, yeah, I mean, it would be nice if they would beat them. I'm not holding out a lot of hope, though, but you never know, right? You never know. One thing I'm pretty sure is Montreal will be up for the game. They should give Boston a good game, if anything, if nothing else. So I'm hoping they keep it close. All right. We also, what we're going to have in this show is I've got a preview for you. I don't have the lineups yet. They're not out yet, the official ones, but I have it here ready to go on screen when they do come out. Should be out before the end of the show. I got stats and all the usual stuff that I have. What else do I have? There was something I wanted to say, and it went out of my head. But we'll talk here in the chat, and that's it. So I'm gonna see who's here now, and then we'll get to my news. I've got news. That's what I forgot. Got some news, various stuff, and hopefully it's interesting. Who is here? Habs Guru. Hey, Guru. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Thinking the Habs might get spanked. 6-2 Bruins. The Rat scores first. That's what I forgot. The Guess the Score contest. So if you guess the score of the game and the first goal scorer of the game, and you can pick that guy from either team, doesn't really matter. You will, and if you're the first one in the comments with that guess, that's very important. Then you would win the $10 prize directly into your bank account via Interact. And good luck to everyone that makes a guess as they're falling off. Am I boring today? I don't know. Maybe I am. Lucas is here too. Hey, Lucas. You're here with driving. Well, then don't text. Please don't text. Listen, that's all. Don't get, don't do anything dangerous. Joe, all the way from Australia down under. Hey, Joe, thanks for being in. Drake is in. Hey, Drake just popped in. 6-2 Boston. New Hook with the first goal. And, yeah, I just should say Guru said the Rat scores first. That's Brad Marchand. Everyone should know that, but just in case. All right, let's get to some news. As hopefully people join us. So Lane Hudson, our defenseman that's in college that I think will be here by the end of the season, an amazing player. Lane Hudson has 5 goals in his last 2 games, 7 goals, 3 assists in 10 games in the NCAA, in the hardest division in the NCAA. Just voted that. In 8 games. So that's pretty incredible. Lane Hudson just looks amazing. The only question for me is, because now he's got the size that he needs. He's 5'10", and he's got the weight. He's getting the strength he needs. He's going to be fine that way. Question is, does his game translate to the NHL? And I'm going to say this now, after, talking to people, reading stuff and everything. I think most aspects of his game automatically will do. There might be a couple things he's not going to be able to do that he's doing down there that makes him look super spectacular. He's still going to be an amazing, awesome, super spectacular defenseman in the NHL. I think he'll be an elite a defenseman, an elite NHL player. And you know what? I know it's crazy, sounds crazy. By the time he's done, you may look back and say, that guy was generational. We don't know. If he hits his ceiling, he'll be generational. Potentially. There, I said it. Okay, the lineups, which I don't have, I do know this. Yoel Armia is out, a healthy scratch. Raphael Harvey-Pinard back in the lineup. So, against Boston, it's not, Armia wasn't wowing anybody. Maybe the first game back. After that, no. So this is good news. Saw a little bit of an interview there in the dressing room with Harvey-Pinard. Looks really pumped, energized, looks ready for the game. So that's always good. He brings a lot of energy, and they'll need that tonight. Here is kind of a little bit of bad news for it. So let me get into my stuff here. I'll say this before I put this up. Habs lose tonight, unfortunately. Why do I say that? This is why. Refs tonight, Chris Lee and Chris Rooney. Chris Rooney, born in Boston. Chris Lee, and they're both giving up. This is penalties to the opponents to the home team. 52 or it's over 50% for Chris Lee and 51 point something for the other guys. So that's not great. Home wins 55% of the time. Home wins when Chris Lee is reffing, and 62% for the other guy. The home team record 38-31-5. I don't know for what year. I don't know what that means exactly, but it's like favorable to the home team. Last year for Boston, Lee was in 5 games, 3 wins, 2 losses for Boston, and the other guy 4 wins, 1 loss for Boston. For Montreal, both were 1-1 last season when they reffed when Montreal played. So Montreal's going to lose tonight. As much as I want them to win, the only way they can win tonight is Boston is off, and Montreal just playing an amazing game. They're clicking on all cylinders because these refs, they're going to affect the game tonight. Mark my words. Come back to this and go, Rick, you were an idiot, or Rick, you were right. One of the two. Chris Lee is maybe, if not, I'm almost positive he's the worst ref anywhere in the world. But we have the best refs in the NHL. Not this guy. And Chris Rooney, I mean, I don't know. He's working with Chris Lee's bad for sure. They're all bad. As they say in French, mon esti de tabernacle. That's what kind of game we're going to have tonight. All right, there's some news about Carey Price. No, he's not coming back. Dr. Mulder, the team physician for so many years, he was honored this week and he retired. And this is what he said, what ended Carey Price's career. He had a meniscus injury, so we sent him to New York for an operation. And during it, the surgeon found that the femur had lost all of its cartilage. It was a surprise, and that's what ended his career. Now, think about this, though. Carey Price he came pretty close, got to the finals, almost won a cup, you could say. I mean, it wasn't that close that it was almost, but got them to the finals, was playing great, and then with no cartilage in that knee. That's crazy. The amount of pain he must have been in, how hard it was for him to do what he was doing. I guess by the finals, he just couldn't do it anymore. You got to understand. I feel for him for that. But that's it. That's what ended his career. And Dr. Mulder says what ended his career. Didn't say what will end his career. Said what ended his career. Carey Price will not be returning, unfortunately. It's sad to have to say that, but that's confirmation right there. It's too bad, but what a warrior to do that. With no cartilage on your knee and you're moving the way he was moving. I can't even imagine it. So kudos to Carey Price. All right. On that note, I'm just going to promote myself. Matt and I have a podcast out there called Habnormals. You can find that on Spotify. There's a link in the description of this video for that and for the Pucking Around podcast latest episode. Both links are in there. This will be coming out every Friday. It came out a little late yesterday because of just unforeseen circumstances that led to it being put out late. But it did come out last night, and it'll be coming out every Friday. Should be at noon. So look for that. And we had a really good conversation, just Matt and I. Hopefully we'll have some guests. I'm going to be inviting some people. Let's see who comes in. Pete the Fist will join us every now and then. And we'll have Habs Jabs with Pete the Fist on there and on the new channel that we're working on. So please look for that. Okay. Well, let's talk to people in the chat, and then we will. I'll get to my preview. There's more people in here, so guess the score contest, guess the score of the game, and the first goal scorer of the game, and you can pick that guy from either team and be the first one in the comments here with that guess, and you could win the $10 directly into your bank account via Interact. Good luck to everybody that gives the guess. I'm going to give you mine now because that's, other than checking on the lineups, that's all I got left here. Habs are in tough tonight. They're in tough tonight. You're going to see in the preview that I'm doing. Oh, it's Pete. Pete's going to be joining me tonight. I forgot to tell him something. Just give me a sec. All right. So I don't know what I was talking about. All right, now I'm going to give the guess the score. So they're in really tough, and if you look more, I'm going to show you the stats and all the stuff. They're at home. Is that an advantage? Maybe a little bit. They're going to have to play really, to their absolute best. And hopefully Boston isn't. And maybe Swayman, who's due for a loss. He's 6-0-0, and he's due for a loss. Maybe he has a bad game and, things change. Yes, Pete, I'm on a show right now. All right. I don't know. I don't see how they win. So my guess is 4-1 Boston. I'm going to give Pasta the first goal because he always scores against us. So give him the first goal. And I don't see Montreal getting a ton of offense going here. I hope they do. And I hope because of the rivalry, and sometimes, you got that rivalry and that just changes everything, right? Because in the old days, Montreal, Quebec could have been the worst team in the league, played Montreal like they were Stanley Cup champions. So if that happens tonight, it's different, but I don't know. Is it going to happen or not? I don't know. Hopefully it will. I'd like to be wrong on this guess. We'll see. But if you look at the numbers, which I'm going to show you really soon, it's not really looking good. So we'll see. And then you add in Chris Lee as the ref tonight. When I saw that, literally, I'm sitting here alone and I'm gathering all this stuff up. And I remember, because I had everything except the lineups. I go, oh, yeah, the refs. Chris Lee. I went, oh, my God. I literally did that. It's a game over. Right? So hopefully I'm wrong, but Chris Lee is an absolute piece of human garbage, in my opinion, the way he refs. And it could get nasty out there with Chris Lee reffing. So all the best for all the Habs. Nobody get injured. And, Arbor and Pizzetta and Andy, they're going to have their hands full. These are the tough guys really on the team. And Caden Gooley, they're going to have their hands full tonight, I think. So anyways, let's see. I'm going to refresh over here. Let's see if the lineups come up because that's all I got left. Lineups are not up yet. I'll check. We've still got a bunch of time. Hopefully by the end of the show, the lineups will come up. So, all right, let's continue to see who's here. Wait a second. Whoop. Oh, went back farther. Oh, there we are. Joe, tell us about your dream. We're very interested. Don't you hate that though? Anyways, you know what? If you wake up and you remember it, it's significant enough message that you're trying to tell yourself. You should ponder on that. If you wake up, bad dream, but it's gone and you can't really remember anything, it's more than likely doesn't mean anything. That's my little bit of knowledge about that stuff, I think. I did read a little bit of Freud. I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't know. But I mean, that's what I would think for myself. Will, hey, Will, how's it going? 5-3 Bruins, Monahan, first goal. Good guess, too. J-Fed, I'll say 5-2 Bruins, Poitras. And it's not Poitras, I think, because he's not French. It's, how does Cam say it? Poitras? But I'm in Quebec. It's Poitras. It's Poitras. Joe says, I've seen clips of Hudson on YouTube. His skills are looking great. They are looking great. And he had a really good season last season. I think we're going to see an even better one. And then by the end of this season for him, I'm quite certain he's ready to leave. I mean, what's he going to, unless he wants to stay in school for his education, which is totally understandable. As far as hockey, he's ready for the NHL and make the jump, because what more is he going to do there? You know, if he has the kind of season that we're expecting, right? So I kind of think we're going to see Lane Hudson by very end of March, beginning of April is what I got to think. We talk about it, by the way, Matt and I, in that podcast. We talk about Lane Hudson. We talk about Caden Primo, Anderson, Slavkovsky. We do a question back and forth thing, some very interesting questions. And I'm biased because I was there and I created this show with Matt. I thought it was pretty good. It ran a little longer than we wanted it to. But other than that, I thought the conversation was good. So hopefully guys will enjoy that and check it out. We could use the listens and the plays or whatever you want to call them. And you can leave hit the follow button. We'd appreciate that too. Because even though Matt and I are on pucking around, there's going to be a little bit of a competition between the two podcasts to see who's getting better listeners, ships, and view and listens and stuff like that. So even though we're both on that show, we're still going to compete just to compete with the other two boys. That's why. Now I say boys, they're young men, but I'm old, so I say boys. All right. Where were we? I was talking to people here. Aiken is here. A little bit of negativity today, Aiken. I don't see him being better than Quinn Hughes, and I don't see people calling him generational. I didn't say people were calling him generational, Aiken. I said I did. So you want to call it a hot take? And I didn't say he was generational. I just said if he hits his ceiling, I think he may be. Is he better than Quinn Hughes? I can't say personally. I haven't seen Quinn Hughes play enough. And when I have, I wasn't that impressed. But I mean, I haven't seen him play that much. So you could be right. But it's not people aren't calling him generational. It's me. Only way we can win this is OT. Well, I mean, that's not true. I mean, if Boston shits the bed, we can win it. But I mean, you're right. I mean, it's going to be a tough game. Probably if Montreal wins, it's because they win in overtime or a shootout. Hey, JFed, no problem. Everyone's got their opinion, right? And you know what? Since he hasn't hit the NHL, all of our opinions are speculative. So who knows who's right? But, you could be right. He is already better than Luke. I mean, again, we don't know. Luke is here in the NHL. Lane is not yet. So we got to wait to see when he gets here, what he looks like in the small sample we'll have this season, probably, should be, and then see what he looks like in camp next year and all that. So for me, I mean, it's all speculative. But what I see greatness there. Again, he has to hit his ceiling. If he doesn't, if he gets here and he just sort of doesn't really get above his floor much, well, of course, I'm wrong then, right? Now you made me think of Tina Turner there, Lucas. Thank you for that. It's not a bad thought. Why do I get an itchy nose when I'm on here? No, I don't do cocaine, so don't even try. Hey, Bob's your uncle. How's it going, man? Gislain, 6'3" Boston, Marchand for his goal. It's Poitras. That's what in Quebec it's Poitras, but I don't think he's from here, so they wouldn't pronounce it that way. So Cam, who on the Puck Around podcast, the Boston Three, that's Matt, Cam, and Alex. They're all from Boston, right? It's not Cam has very little Boston accent. You have to really listen hard to hear it. But I mean, he's saying Poitras, like that's apparently how they pronounce it. So there you go. Well, Logan is Mayu, is what I heard he said it is. It is Mayu, not Mayu, because I would have said Mayu, but it's Mayu, according to him. And Brad Marchand, but he's not from here. He's from Ontario, so it's Brad Marchand, not Marchand. And Nathan Beaulieu, he's not from here, so it's not Beaulieu. It's Beaulieu because he's from like Western Canada, I think. No? So it depends where you are to how it's pronounced. But I'm from Quebec. I'm here in Quebec. I pronounce it like you do, Gislain. Let him finish his schooling. Let him have a huge season and maybe win a championship. Hockey careers can be cut short. I mean, that's what I said. If he goes 4 years because he wanted the full, but a lot of these guys, they just go back after. They get started and they go back and finish. So I have a feeling he'll be here at the end of the season. He pronounced it right though, for the Friends guy, Matt LeBlanc. I think that's how he pronounced it. He didn't say LeBlanc, who a lot of Americans would say LeBlanc. If they come out like they did against Vegas, they have a good chance. They do. Still no lineup. Alouettes are playing Toronto at 3 p.m. So it's the CFL, man. I get it's for the Grey Cup, but go Alouettes because I don't want to see Toronto do anything. But I mean, it's the CFL, man. I'm just not a CFL guy in any way. Whoever wins this game loses next week. That's not exactly true. I mean, if Boston comes in and wins tonight, then they're going to be at home. I don't think it means they're going to lose. I know what you're saying, though. A lot of times it happens a lot of times, but I don't know. I'm in this situation. I don't know. Joseph, Lane is or incarnate. I'm not saying that either. Listen, Bobby Orr was the best player ever to play. So I'm not saying that about Lane Hudson, but I think Lane Hudson has the potential to be a great hockey player. He even looks like him, just shorter, sort of, I guess, when he first came into the league. But listen, I mean, I'm not saying that. But, I mean, you know what? There's similarities there, definitely, but it's not the case. Hey, Sean, if Habs are out of the playoffs and Laval's doing good, I can see Lane going to Laval for the experience. It depends. I mean, Montreal might think, well, he's not going to Laval. He doesn't need Laval. Right? Let's see how he does here first before we send him to Laval. I can see that. I personally don't think Hudson's going to – he's either, in my opinion, he's either going to do a year in Laval. I don't really think that. Or start here and he's going to stay here. And I think that's how it's going to work out. he's not going to ever play in the AHL. A lot of players go through their careers and they never play in the AHL. Right? I mean, a lot of players. Nick Suzuki is one who got him here. Just less stuck on these French names. All right. Joseph, honestly, right? Or could kill a penalty by himself. It helped that he had guys out there, to check and stuff. But I mean, you could be hounding him and you couldn't get the puck from the guy. And I mean, like Joseph said, I've seen it with my own eyes. Not like he killed a full two, but I mean, he could have done that. He practically killed the penalties himself a lot of times. He was amazing holding on to the puck. So when you got, what do they call that? Puck not control. Protection? Puck protection? Man, this guy, Bobby Orr, was the master. So, I'm lucky enough that I got to watch him like a lot, actually, because of Montreal and Boston, right? Rivalry. I was a little young still, but I mean, I got to watch him a lot. But like it was par for the course, and we didn't realize back then, how great he was. We knew it was, he was great, but I mean, in the grand scheme of hockey, how great he was. And I came to realize it, reluctantly because he's a Bruin. But I always liked Bobby Orr as a player, always, as a kid, always. He was just great, and greatness is greatness. He is the ultimate generational player, in my opinion. Sean, you might be right. And listen, that's me saying, I don't know how they're feeling. And you know what? It makes sense too. I don't forget who said it, but it does make sense. Nothing going on here. Let him help Laval win a championship. I'm okay with it. I'm just saying I don't think that's going to happen, but sure. It is definitely a scenario and an option they would have. There's a lot of European names and stuff like that totally, if you translate them, they just Arnold Schwarzenegger, translate his last name. I believe it means black plow horse. So, did you know some people called Greenwood are actually Bois Vert? Well, that's what Bois Vert means, isn't it? Bois Vert, Greenwood. Or if you're doing exact, it's wood green, but that's not how you translate French. Should the NHL rename the Norris Trophy to the Orr Trophy for Best Defenseman? I would say, well, I think they should have two trophies for defensemen. One for offensive, one for defensive. If they need to rename the trophies, okay, but I don't like renaming the Norris. And it should be for the offensive defenseman, which is what the Bobby Orr trophy should be for. So I don't know. I just don't like to. There's no reason, unless James Norris was like a real son of a bitch, racist piece of shit or something. No, there's no reason to take his name off the trophy. But I think there should be two trophies though for defensemen. The great defensive defensemen, they're never going to win that trophy. And it's not fair. So I think it's about time they add a trophy. Hell, if the NHL can't afford it, listen, we can all get together, chip in a little bit, go to the trophy store, and come up with something and donate it to the NHL. How's that? Gary Bettman, a cheap piece of shit. Have an opinion, Rick. Let's get to the preview. I'm just gonna do one final click and see if they're. Yes, the lineups are in. I'm so good at this. All right, so we'll have lineups. Isn't that great? And that's probably what we're gonna do every week because the lineups they come out when the show is on. So I'll do a share screen for that. And I may start doing the share screen for it all instead of doing the work. Anyway, I don't need to tell everybody. Nobody, what do you think of my Christmas decorations? I know it's Remembrance Day today, but the ceremony and everything happened. And then I did that. So I had to wait for that. And so, but yeah, I love Christmas lights. Yes, I know I'm Jewish. Don't have to tell me. Okay, the game tonight. The 11-1-1 Boston Bruins versus on the road to Montreal Canadiens 6-5-2. Still a better record than I would have given them at the 13-game mark going into the season. Although when I say that, I mean maybe not because they're not that far off from where I thought they're going to finish. And they're kind of up and down with it. So, anyway, how to watch this game tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. You can watch in Canada on CBC, City TV. That's in English. And TVA Sports in French. In Bruins region on NESN. Streaming ESPN Plus, TSN Plus, RDS, and Sportsnet Now, which is where I'll be watching it. Unless... I'm thinking about maybe trying to set up a TV in here because CBC I can get easily with the antenna. So maybe, I don't know. Season series and last 10 games. So the last 10 games, Montreal's 5-4-1, won their last game. Bruins are 8-1-1, and they won their last 2. Season series is November 11th, which is today, and they're here in Montreal. On the 18th, they'll be in Boston. January 20th. In Boston and March 14th in Montreal. That's somewhere around the trade deadline time, but I'm not sure what the trade deadline day is. Home and away record. Boston is away. They are 5-1-0 on the road. Yeah. Home record for Montreal, 4-3-0. So advantage Boston. Tail of the tape. Scoring chances for percentage, so possession numbers, 48.2%, 21st for Montreal, 51.6%, 13th for the Bruins. Goals per game, 2.92 for Montreal, 20th, 3.31 for Boston, 14th. Goals against per game, 3.38 for Montreal, 21st, 1.92 for Boston, 1st. Power play percentage, 21.8%, Montreal, 13th. And 20.9% for Boston, 14th. So it's a little better, ours. I mean, but slightly. So not much difference there. PK percentage, 75.4% for Montreal, 22nd. 92.2% for Boston. They're second in the league. Montreal not scoring a power play goal tonight, more than likely. Head-to-head record in the last season, we know we lost all games, 0-3-0, and they were 3-0-0. All right, face-off percentage. For Boston, 50.9%, 14th. For Montreal, 53.2%, 5th. So bit of a surprise there, but Boston lost their best 2 centers last season. So imagine, and 50.9 is not horrible. Shots on goal allowed and shots on goal for. So we'll start with the shots on goal for. 31.8 for Boston, 29.5 for Montreal, and allowed 31.2 for Boston, 34.5 for Montreal. Players to watch over the last 5 games. Points. Pasta. That's David Pastrnak for 7 points and Nick Suzuki with 5. Goals, each with 4. And that's Charlie Coyle and Nick Suzuki. Assists, 5 for Pastrnak and 3 for Caulfield, and plus-3 for Forbort and +1 for Gooley. Team leaders for the season in goals, Pastrnak already with 10, and Monahan from Montreal with 6. And Caulfield's right behind him with 5. Just got to throw that in for Caulfield. Points, Pasternak with 20 and Caulfield with 13. Average time on ice, Hampus Lindholm, 24-18, and Mike Matheson, 24-20. And wins, Jeremy Swayman, who's in nets tonight, with 6, and Allen for Montreal has 3. But it's Monty in nets tonight, and I don't know if Monty has 3. He must have 3. We have 6 wins. So there you go. Bruins top 5 scoring. Pasternak, 10 goals, 10 assists, 20 points, plus 8. Marchand, the Rat, 6 goals, 7 assists, 13 points, plus 5. Charlie Coyle, 5 goals, 7 assists, 12 points, plus 3. James Van Riemsdyk, 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points, plus 4. And Pavel Zacha, 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points, plus 5. For Montreal, Cole Caulfield leads the way, 5 goals, 8 assists, 13 points, plus 3. Sean Monahan, 6 and 6 for 12 points and a plus 1. Nick Suzuki, 5 goals, 7 assists, 12 points, minus 3. Mike Matheson, 3 goals, 7 assists, 10 points, minus 5. And Brendan Gallagher, 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points, minus 4. Eastern standings, Boston right at the top. Montreal not at the bottom, but almost. So it's Boston, Florida, Detroit, Tampa, Toronto, Buffalo, Montreal, Ottawa. So Montreal almost where I would have figured they'd be in 8th, but maybe Ottawa stays down there with all the shit going on there and injuries and stuff. The NHL standings where Montreal is, they're at 18th, so they somehow moved up a little bit. Did they won their last game? I don't remember now. Just I'm just blanking all of a sudden. Montreal 18th, so ahead of them, Washington and Anaheim, but they're tied in points. And behind them, St. Louis and New York Islanders, who are also tied in points. Goalies tonight. Jeremy Swayman in for Boston, 6-0-0, 149 goals against, a 9.52 save percentage, which I think leads the league. And he's had 1 shutout. And we've got Sam Montembeault, 2-2-1, 306 goals against, a 902 save percentage, no shutouts. On the face of that, I mean, Swayman's going to win. Swayman kind of due for a loss with no losses. Monty, I don't know. It's not that he's up and down, but Monty could have an amazing game, and he's had one already this year. If he has that tonight, he could steal it. So let's see what he's made of, right? Let's go to the lineups. I will have to share that with you this way. Hang on a sec, guys. Lineups tonight for Boston, Zacha, Marchand, Pasternak. Second line, Coyle, JVR, and Frederick. Third line, Poitras, Heinen, and DeBrusk. And then fourth line, Beecher, Lauko, and Steen. On defense, Laurel and McAvoy, Lindholm, and Carlo. What? Isn't it Brandon Carlo? They put Carlo LOL at the end. Isn't it Brandon Carlo? Derek Forbert and Ian Mitchell round that out. Swayman starting, Ullmark backing him up for the Habs. Sec. Suzuki with Newhook and Anderson. Devo with Slavkovsky and Caulfield. Monahan, Pearson, and Gallagher, the only line fully intact. Evans and Pizzetta and Harvey Pinard make the fourth line. Matheson and Barron, Gooley and Kovacevic, Jackeye and Harris are the defensive pairs. Monty starting, Allen backing him up, and there you go. That's it for that. There's the there's the lineups. All that. There's it. I don't know what I'm going to say. Words just not coming. My brain just stopped working. All right, let's see if we can get the brain working. Find where we were. That's where we were. Good point, right? We got two for the forwards, defensive and offensive forwards. Why not for the defensemen? Because, for many years, overlooked that way. I think that's all it is. Time to stop overlooking the defensive defenseman and give him a goddamn award. There you go. Stand up for the small guy, although they're probably all way bigger than me. I love it when we face Boston, the most hated team. Not my most hated team, but as far as rivalries go over the years and watching the games, Boston was a much better team for many of those years. And so that, playoffs and everything, sure, I love the Boston rivalry. But as far as city and team that I hate, absolutely hate and detest, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's just not going to change. I'm going to drink a little bit of water. Losing my voice today. Good thing I'll have Pete with me tonight, so that'll be good. Easy on my voice. It'll be good to have Pete around. Well, just if you're taking off, I'll see you tonight, man. Thanks for all the comments. Appreciate it. Daryl Adams, how's it going? I'm doing good. 4-3 Habs, Caulfield with the first goal. I'll remind people, since you might be here late, guess the score contest. Guess the score of the game and the first goal scorer of the game. And you can pick that guy from either team. And if you are the first person in the chat with that guess, you can win the $10 prize directly into your bank account via Interac, if that's the score and the goal scorer in the game. I just felt I should make that clear, even though I kind of did. Standing man, how's it going, man? 3-2 Habs, Pasternak with the first goal. I, by the way, in case you weren't here earlier, gave 4-1 Bruins, Pasternak with the first goal, because I just don't see a path here to being hopeful, seriously hopeful that the Habs could win this game. Bruins are due to lose a game. So this likely could be the game. I'm hoping that's the case, and that I'm just jinxing it for the Bruins by picking for them, because that's happened a lot. So we'll see. But I don't know. Bruins just look too good. I don't know. If we get that team, we're toast. And Chris Lee, by the way, Chris Lee is the ref tonight. Right? Now everybody just go, oh shit, I got to change my guess. Chris Lee's horrible, hates the Habs. It's clear he hates the Habs. He's bought and paid for. Boston's an American team. We're not going to get a well-refed game. I bet money on that, and I don't like betting and losing money. I'd bet money on that, what I just said about Chris Lee. Bob's your uncle. Boston 6, Montreal 2. Zaka, first goal. Is that in response to what I just said by Chris Lee? I wonder if anybody's going to change their guess. When I saw who the ref, I literally went, oh, like that. Deep breath. They're going to lose the game. Was my reaction. By the way, if anyone's wondering what this thing, it's here. That's a poppy and a Canadian maple leaf. So I thought today I wear it here. It's been on my hat for a while. I couldn't get a poppy. I went to go buy one, and they're all closed. Actually, the last 2 times I was at the mall, I wanted to buy one, and they just couldn't get one. When I was a kid, man, if you lived even in like a residential neighborhood, there was like on the corner they were selling them. Like they were everywhere. Now you got to search and search and search till you find. If you find. Anyways, I did, and I do this every year. I at 11 o'clock, I was at my desk, had the thing on the screen, and I did my 2 minutes of silence. And I've done this since I'm a kid, since I started school. Very first year in school, we did this, and I've been doing it every year since. I never miss. Even when I was working, I was out and I was driving, pull over, stop for 2 minutes. Yeah. Stan the Man, should the Habs trade Allen to the Oilers? Who would you want in return? I don't remember, but I think Matt and I did talk about this in the podcast as well. I don't know that they're going to trade him to the Oilers, honestly. I don't. Problem is, you got to think if in the deal, you probably got to take Jack Campbell back. I don't want Jack Campbell. Now he's cleared waivers, so you can go down to the minors, but he's making like $5 million. So that's like almost $4 million goes against the cap. And he just signed for like 5 years, 3 years left after this, I think. That's too much. So it depends what would come back, but should Allen be the guy to go? I don't know. Should Monty be the guy to go? That I say no. It's a matter of, is Primo ready? If Primo is not ready, you don't trade one of these guys. If Primo is ready, and they're sure he's ready, and he looks good, then I think it's Allen that goes. He's 34 years old. You don't trade a 27-year-old promising. I think he's promising still, Monty, the goalie, for a 34-year-old goalie. I don't think you do that. As much as I like Jake Allen, it's no disrespect. If Jake Allen is listening, no disrespect to you, bro. No, none. I just think that's the way, you got to look at it. The thing is, I did hear, as far as like reading, more than once that apparently all three goalies are in play as far as the trade thing goes. So it doesn't answer any questions. It doesn't make it easier to try to figure out, but that's what I've heard. So whether it is or not, I don't know. Who would I want in return from Edmonton? She said, I don't know their lineup well enough to really know, to be very, very honest with you. But probably would be one of their young prospects. They've got like one or two guys. I know everyone's got Raphael Lavoie, and I wonder if it's not because he's French. I know he's okay and all that, but I don't know. Has he been performing? Like, I don't know enough. But I know everyone's talking Raphael Lavoie. There's that other kid. What's his name? Bourgault? I don't know. I just thought I don't want Jack Campbell. You could say, well, Jack Campbell's a nice guy. He may be a nice guy, nicest guy in the world. Not an NHL goalie, and he's kind of sucking in the AHL right now, but his head's not in the right place. And you can't win cups with Jack Campbell. If he's a goalie for Laval, but can you win championships with him down there even? I wouldn't want him here. Hey, Randy. What's with the early pregame show? Been doing it all season. Saturday hockey talk. I don't do it usually during the season, so instead it's at 1:00, and I do a game preview. We talk about the game. It's a new thing. Every year I do something different. I can't just do the same thing over and over and over. I get bored of it. So I would imagine if I get bored of things, you guys are going to be bored of things. So every year I try to do something different. This is what this year's is. Yeah, every Saturday afternoon, but it's just Saturdays. This is not during the week. During the week I do different, but Saturdays, this is how it is. But there's a week or two coming up where there's no game on Saturday. At least there's one or two during the season. Those days I'll do a nighttime show. So I know it's kind of all over the place, but I mean, if you think about it, you can figure it out. No, Randy, the only time I'm going to do pregame shows is later games. So now I do the postgame show. So I do the game at 7. If it's 8:00, I'll still do postgame. If it's after that, I do a pregame, but not, an hour before. So if it's an 8:30, 9, whatever, I do it an hour before. So yeah, That's the changes this year. I'm sorry. I'm still here though, consistently, and you got to do something different. I need to, or I get bored. That's my ADHD. I can't help it. So that's why I like to move things around behind me and stuff every now and then. I need a change every now and then. Bob's your uncle says I wouldn't trade Allen yet. Edmonton is desperate for a goalie, but so too are several other teams. Allen's likely the best goalie available, so let's see what other teams step up in the quest for him. I think that's the proper way to look at it. It's not like Edmonton's the only team. Get a bidding war going. Get the most you can. But I think it's going to be Allen. I mean, to me, Allen makes sense. If you're going to trade one of the three. Having a 3 goalie system, probably not the best thing, but I don't know. Apparently, the league might be going towards doing that. I don't know how you work out 3 goalies regularly, keeping their rhythm. I don't know how you work that out, though. The Rickster. That's me, man. Hey, Quinn, how's it going? Randy Mack. It's almost time for a beer. Nah, in my place, been time for a beer for a while. No, I don't drink much, so I just do this. Well, Randy, and I don't agree with you on that. I'll disagree with you on that, Randy. I don't know. It's clear that Allen's the number one. If you want to look and say the other game when Allen just blew a tire, Monty came in relief and he was great. He earned a 3rd star, so it's not like he played okay. He earned a 3rd star. I think that's pretty good. So I think it's a 1A 1B situation. I don't think either of them have pulled away from the other. There you go, Randy. I mean, listen, you do what you want. I'm not telling you what to do. I only do what I do. And if YouTube doesn't like it, you know how many ads I get for the new cannabis company that's selling here in Canada? I get ads all the time for that on YouTube. So they can't say shit to me because I don't push this. Quinn says, got a good feeling about tonight for some reason, even though I'm usually a bit of a realist. Listen, a gut feeling's a gut feeling. Obviously, it doesn't mean they're always right, but hey, you got to go with it. I hope that's the case, that Montreal pulls off one of those, rivalry game, right? Where I was saying Canadians and Nordiques back in the day, Nordiques could have been the shittiest team in the league, and it happened many times where they were. And the game against Montreal, they looked like they were Stanley Cup contenders, if not champions. So, there's a lot to say for a rivalry game. And there's not a lot better than Montreal-Boston, right? There's not. So, yeah, I mean, it could happen. Bob's your uncle. I agree. I don't think Edmonton is a big trade partner. I don't know what we're going to get from them. I don't know. So we'll see. I'll tell you this: if they do this and they trade to Edmonton and whatever to get back, I'll trust in that, because so far they've made good trades and the guys come back. You go, wow, and then they're playing well. It's good additions. I'll trust in my management for that. And I'm not an insider that I have any advanced knowledge of any of this. Again, like I said, I don't think their games differential, Randy, is that much that you can say you said an edge, but that's what I mean by 1A, 1B. I mean, that's all I mean. So maybe Allen's 1A and Monty's 1B, but I don't think it's worse than that. Randy Mack, I don't know. Did I say to each? Oh, that, yeah. Yeah, to each his own, 100%. And if you're doing other things, I mean, just don't, I don't need to know. And nobody here needs to know. And do what you like. Just enjoy the show. Hopefully, participate. And we all have fun. And everybody, hey, do what you want. I prefer that I don't need to know everything. And we all have a good time. Lucas, you don't miss YouTube ads. I mean, listen, okay, I get, I do okay with, I mean, not, it's passable for income, just that. But, you know, they can be annoying. They can be annoying, I have to say. Especially, I do the dishes and stuff. I clean my kitchen while I'm listening to videos. But then you get these ads that are like 5 minutes long, right? So then you got to go like, what the hell? And you go over, you got to hit the button. Like those kind of ads really piss me off. The short ads, I don't care. I'll let them run. But the long ones really piss me off. So I get pissed off a lot. But I got to say to myself, yeah, okay, but you run ads. It's okay. I don't want to jinx myself. Standing man, I miss the Nordiques rivalry as well, buddy. Great games. Like I said, right? How many times Nordiques were shit, yet you couldn't tell when they played the Habs. So that intensity and that, that fire they get, that could be, that could make a big difference if for one team, So we'll see what happens tonight. We'll see. We'll see if this version of the Habs have that intensity for the game, for that rivalry between Montreal and Boston, right? We'll see. Don't forget, back in our day, I assume Stan, they played a lot more often because there were less teams, so they played more against each other. Now it's 3 or 4 games. It's not the same. Okay, when did this come in? Nope. Who answered me? Nope. Let's see this. This could be something here to talk about. Oh, here's the stat. Look, okay, listen to this. Thank you, Guru. Thank you. You're listening. Thank you. So Guru just sent me this. So he looked into Chris Lee and his games. He was the ref versus other teams. Last year, a Reddit user over on the Habs forum looked into Chris Lee's record of refereeing Habs games between 1999 and 2020. Well, he didn't. Okay, there are over 25,000 games played in the NHL, but not that and found that while Lee penalizes other teams 1% less than the average official, he penalizes the Habs almost 14% more. So I'm not bullshitting when I say Habs are probably going to lose this game because of that fucking ref. Over the span, the Habs have won 44% of their games, but only 36% when Lee is officiating. So their win percentage goes down 8 points when it's Chris Lee. So now you're coming into a game where you're already the underdog. You're already against a team that should be better than you. And now the ref takes you down a notch. Just before going into the game, you're coming down a notch with that ref. That's what's disgusting about. But they're the best referees in any league anywhere, man. Yeah. Now you know why I got to smoke. Jesus. Right? So when I saw Chris Lee is the ref, now you know why I went. Ugh. Any hope I had that the Habs would, I'm going to talk just for me. So any hope I had that, yes, this could be a good rival game, Montreal's going to play, blah, blah, blah. But this ref is going to bring it down no matter what you want to say. He's going to bring it down. And not going to bring it down on the Bruins side. He's a ref that's bought and paid for by the NHL. And yeah, of course he gets paid by the NHL, but you know what I mean. I'm not coming out to say anything libelous against the guy because I'm not stupid. But what I said's enough. Let's see, where was I? Lucas, I just hope, yeah, if they can get it to OT, referee or not, more than likely, I mean, they got a good chance to win. Like against any team, Montreal, 3-on-3 OT, has the players that can win. Randy Mack, I can suggest, especially have good virus protection, but you can go to On Hockey TV. I know you'll get the game there, but you just got to be careful with the good, you know. But you can get the game there for sure. And listen, I don't know where you are. Where are you? Because if you're in Canada, you don't have to have cable. It's on CBC. Just have a TV with an antenna. You should be able to get that up. Get that the game. So today it's on CBC. You should be able to get it. Has it been? Is On Hockey TV not working? Anyway, I pay for it, courtesy of Habs Guru. I get it on Sportsnet now, so I always get the games. But I had that problem, and you know, Guru was great to do this, and the timing couldn't have been better because the last 2 years it's gotten extremely hard to find the games, like consistently and good too, like with a good video quality. Yeah, Lucas, I don't watch NBA. I don't really watch baseball. I don't watch football. I only hear from other people that refs are bad everywhere, but I mean, hard to imagine much worse than most, if not all, the refs in the NHL. Bob's your uncle. We have been getting most penalties. Yeah. Expect it to be worse tonight and more blatant with Chris Lee and allowing the cheap shots and guys to get away with that shit. So this is the problem with this guy. So the game could get out of hand physically, you know, fighting wise. So I say Arbor, Mike Pizzetta, Andy, going to have to be ready to play a strong physical game. Caden Gooley. So it's not like we don't have guys, but could get out of hand out there with a ref like that. You're in St. John? Well, you should be able to you should try it. If you got a TV around, if it has antenna ears or whatever, see if you get a CBC signal, you'll get the game. It's on national. It's the national game for CBC tonight. Yeah, no problems, Randy. I hope you get it, and I hope you can watch it because, you know, listen, I'm happy to be here to provide you information, but nothing better than watching the game. Not as good as listening. But you can put the game on and then listen. No, it's up to you, though. People do that. Lucas, the last 2 games were blacked out. The game's here in Montreal. So thank God. No, I have a VPN. So if I didn't have the VPN, I would get about half the games, Habs games. The other half would be blacked out here for some reason. But with the VPN, just Just go, I'm in Toronto. Oh, guess what? You get the game now. So, yeah, Toronto gets everything. And it's the truth. Even if the Habs are playing in Toronto, going to get the game. It's a Toronto game, going to get the game. I wonder if Toronto gets that, where they got blacked out games, those fuckers. Anyway, I got the solution, and no, because I got the solution, I haven't had any blackout games. But that means extra, cost me extra. So as much as, and listen, Guru's present was, it's crazy amazing. But I mean, it's made me have to get a VPN. So anyway, I got a decent deal on it, so I'm okay. I'm not complaining at all because getting it this way, you get the signal, you get the good picture. Sometimes on antenna, you don't always get a great picture. On hockey TV, it's not always great. So this way, that's why I'm probably not going to try to get it on CBC or anything, because this way, the picture is great. So I can't complain. Hey, Rena Gale. It's Gail. I thought I was saying Gal. Rena Gale. Good to see you. Been a while, it feels like. Yes. Oh, you can get can you get the Habs game on CBC Gem? I think I tried that. I couldn't get it, but there you go. Randy Mack, CBC Gem. You might be able to get it there too, online. So on, internet. I remember I tried that. I couldn't get it, but I'm old and I struggle sometimes with those things, admittedly. Arizona's the only team more penalized than Montreal in the league. Nice. Isn't that nice? And after tonight's game, we're going to be back up on top. Almost guaranteed, Any physical play, Montreal's going to get the extra penalty. He's going to allow shit to go down that should be called. Stuff like that. Physical, stupid shit. He's going to allow that. All right, we're at the point where, guess what? I'm done for now. I'll be back at 7. Pete should be joining me. If it's not right at 7, might be a little later because he's 3 hours earlier. I think he's working today. Started really early, though. Should be there. If not, he'll join me not too long after. So me and Pete tonight for the hangout and the post-game show, and we should have a lot of fun. It's always fun when Pete joins. Geez, that just sounds wrong. Always fun when Pete joins me and Matt for a threesome, man. No, so whenever Pete joins the broadcast, though, it's always a good time. So Matt Outdoor gets a guess in 3-2 Habs. Cole Caulfield, first goal. Got to check, make sure that nobody has that, because that might be a guess already. And Randy Mack says, I think I've tried it and couldn't get it because I got an old phone. That could go two ways. But I'll try again. I'm also an old fella like you, Rick. Oh, well, you see, there's the problem, right? Listen, CBC has it tonight. If you can get it on TV, CBC is the easiest thing to pick up without cable, usually, right? So that you should be okay there. And if not, well, I'm here, and I'll do the best to keep you updated on what's going on, and that's what we do here. All right, so on that note, I got to take off. I'll be back at 7. We got the game, and then at 10 for the post game, unless the game runs longer, and then we'll just be on a little after that. And that's it. So till next time, which is not that long, stay safe out there. Peace out, everybody. And keep your sticks on the ice. Go Habs, go. And I'll see you soon. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon, and see you at 7. Ciao, everybody. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate that.